Hello everyone, this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, March 18th. I'm Dan Philgreen, and this is what's happening today. Randy Woods of the Village Church will give us all the details on the Shell Point Singers collaborative spring concert with the Bay Singers of Bonita Bay. And Jim Irwin of Turbin will show off a collection of woodwind instruments he'll be showcasing in his upcoming Academy class. But first, we want to remind you that if you're single, you're invited this evening to enjoy great conversation and make new friendships at a special dining experience at the singles table in the Crystal Dining Room. Every Monday and Wednesday at 5:30 is a great chance to be a part of this special dining event. Make your reservation now by calling the Crystal at 454-2199. Now, if you want to get out on an excursion for your dining pleasure, you might want to take part in the outing to Venice tomorrow, where you'll have lunch on the Mayaca River. Experience one of Florida's most unique restaurants in a true old Florida setting. Savor your meal in their new dining room or out on the deck while taking in the ambiance of the river and some lively banjo music. The group will arrive early to have more time to enjoy the scenery and obtain good seating. The cost is $12 with lunch on your own. Court pickups begin at 8 a.m. on the island, 8:10 at the Woodlands, and 8:20 at Eagles Preserve. Return time will be approximately 3 p.m. Now, I realize that St. Patrick's Day was earlier this week, but if you're still in the Irish mood and yearning for more shamrock green, then there's more available next week. Next Wednesday, the 25th, you can head over to the Social Center for a Do You Know Your Neighbor event. It's another opportunity to reminisce about the beautiful country of Ireland. If you have ever lived, traveled, or want to know more about Ireland, then join us next Wednesday. Ireland isn't the only place where you can hear the musical sounds of woodwind instruments, such as the flute. Jim Irwin of Turbin is standing by to enlighten us with all kinds of woodwind instruments, such as the didgeridoo, crumhorns, pipe tabor, and, well, we'll let him tell you more about his Academy class happening tomorrow.
Hello everyone, I'm here today with James R. Irwin of Turbin. We're talking about a program in the Academy of Lifelong Learning, Blowin with the Wind. Thanks for joining me, Jim.
It's my pleasure.
I'm so glad that you're going to be able to offer us this course because there's been a lot of conversation about it. Blowing with the wind reminds us of blowing in the wind, and it's two different things. You're actually going to bring wind instruments to us.
Quite a few of them.
Quite a few of them.
Quite a few.
Let's start with how you got interested in music. How far back does this go?
Oh, back actually in junior high school and on, but I went to Northwestern University and majored in music education, got a master's in music, taught band and orchestra in Dearborn, Michigan for 8 years before I got smart and went into counseling instead. But I've kept with music all my life in one way or another.
Fabulous. Now, you're going to bring us wind instruments. Do they hold a special place in your heart, or how did we get wind instruments as our topic?
Well, I started out as a trumpet player and kind of loved my high school band director back there, and he was a cornet player. And eventually got into playing French horn, which became my major instrument, and played some tuba in the Northwestern bands. And on a trip to Switzerland, decided, let me see what the recorders are like. It was popular over there, and ended up liking it. And some friends played recorders also, so in Dearborn, I ended up having a little consort of recorder players. And it spread into an interest in early music from there, and got into crumhorns and harpsichords and things like that. So,
interesting.
and it just kind of expanded.
Well, you've brought some interesting instruments. I mean, this, of course, looks fabulous with the turtle and the feather. But I have to say, this looks most interesting of all. What in the world is
that? That is a didgeridoo from Australia. And most of them are made out of carpenter ant eaten out branches that are hollowed out. This happens to be a piece of bamboo that's all painted up. And it's probably the oldest of the instruments that I've got here.
Fabulous.
This is Native American flute, Navajo one there. And this is called a three-hole pipe and tabor from England.
Pipe and tabor from England.
And this is one of the smaller of the recorders. And that's a tin whistle.
Tin whistle. Is that also a penny whistle?
That penny whistle, same thing.
Interesting. Okay, so we only have a brief time with you when you consider all the wind instruments. 10:15 to 11:45. What can we expect if we come to this program on Blowin' with the Wind?
Well, hopefully there will be a little humor along the way. You'll hear a lot of different sounds, a lot of talk about the instruments themselves, which range from just a piece of bamboo all the way up to some handcrafted recorders that are quite expensive and beautiful things. Some of the woodworkers out there might enjoy looking at some of these beautifully made instruments.
Well, I encourage everybody to show up. Social Center. You can't even imagine what you're going to hear in the way of notes from this variety of instruments with James R. Irwin of Turbine.
All this talk today about music wouldn't be complete if we didn't discuss the music that resonates from the lips of our own Shell Point singers. It's time for the Big Spring Concert, and to add more power to the punch, they are teaming up with the Bonita Bay Singers. Randy Woods has more to discuss about next Tuesday's concert.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and here it is March and it's springtime, and we're ready for another huge concert coming up with the Shell Point Singers and the Bay Singers of Bonita Bay. And as we have done this since working together with David McJoynt, our resident here at Shell Point, David's been part of the Bay Singers, and you actually started the choir. Is that correct?
That's right, Randy. In 1998.
Okay.
I moved into Bonita Bay, and I was looking for a place to sing, and they said, well, why don't you start a choir? So that's how it started. I had the original idea for the choir then, and we had a beginning of about 12 to 15 people showed up. My thinking was that there's a lot of people here that are retired that have sung in choirs and throughout their life would like to sing again. And that certainly is what happened because we did good that year. But, after that we said, we're pretty good here. Why don't we kind of organize this thing and put it together a little bit, get a little budget together and hire a director and accompanist. And that worked out well. And here it is, 16 years later, and we've only had 3 directors. And our last one, Bruce Galbraith here, has brought us to a point where we're really good.
So, I would agree. So tell us a little bit about Bruce. We've had a joy working together at our previous concert, but you're the one who hired him and has worked with him closely with the Bay Singers. Tell us a little bit about Bruce and his leadership.
Well, I don't have enough time, Randy.
That's true. I understand. Yeah.
Bruce is on a I call him an infield utility guy because he does everything. He's in the instruments a lot, which we've never had before, which really perks up the whole business, and he's had a tremendous background in teaching with choirs. He's toured choirs all over Europe. And in Interlochen, which was music camp in Michigan, was a favorite of his, and we've had a lot of people talk a lot about his experience at Interlochen. Bruce, you might tell us a little bit more about your background. Those are just a highlight.
Interlochen was a great time, Dave, and it's very special young people. It was a vision that a man had that kids could have a wonderful training and include lots of music with their academics, and it works. In recent years, Jewel and Josh Groban have come from there, and they're kind of well-known names.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you work with a lot of young people, but I find that in our community that our young people here still have a great desire to learn, a zest for singing, a joy in life, and what a great opportunity it is for us to put our resources together. With your choir, we have approximately 75 singers from the Bay Singers, and here the Shell Point Singers, another 75. We're going to fill the stage with over 150 singers in this combined concert on Tuesday night, March 24th. And Bruce and I had the privilege of working together. Bruce is has great knowledge of the choral repertoire, a variety of styles. And it was fun when we got together at your home and we're picking out music selections for us.
We think it's going to be a good show, and it's magic in a way. 150 people, they're going to sing a concert, and they only will have had one rehearsal together. Yep. But because you and I are so in tune that you're rehearsing them the way we have agreed, and I'm doing the same with my gang. Right. And so that's really magic, like I said, when you put those two groups together.
Well, it was way back in the fall when we started this, getting our music, getting everything selected, making the notes for breaths and all those kinds of things. But now, as we put it together, we have a little theme that you've helped to
Well, we always have a
develop.
theme. It's really,
Get
you're right.
away from it all.
Well, it's called Let's Get Away From It All, and it's about how you travel the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe,
Yeah.
or travel down Route 66, or in current
to the
years,
Shenandoah
how about
Valley,
Fly
yeah.
Me to the Moon, or the other places that we love to go on our vacation, such as Shenandoah or New York, New York. And then it ends up with a wonderfully lovely song about being where you are is where you love, and that's special to all of us. So it's I think people will recognize at least 7 or 8 of the tunes.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They're favorites, and our singers love singing these tunes. The Shell Point Singers, and they're doing so well. I have to admit that some of them are new to me. I guess I was born late.
Yeah,
I had
Atchison,
missed out.
Topeka,
Yeah,
and the
that's-
Santa Fe, that might have been the one.
Yeah, but those railroad songs.
Dave,
What's
you're
fun
in
though?
both groups, of
Yes,
course.
I was going to tell you that, you're absolutely right. These two have written the songs and put all the markings in there, and I rehearse at both places. I rehearse here with Randy on Monday, and then I'm with Bruce again on Thursday, and it really doesn't make any difference. It comes out the same every time because they're following the markings in the music. And I think it's going to come together really well, really quick, too, because both sound good. Both sound good.
I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity, and it's a great privilege for us as a choir, the Shell Point Singers, to combine our resources, our energy, our voices with the bass singers. And I appreciate you men, just your leadership and generosity of time and talent to make this happen. It's going to be a great celebration for us in the community here. So it's Tuesday night, March 22nd. The concert's at 7:30. It's free. I'm sorry, the concert is at 7:15. And the concert is free. So come out and be a part of this great celebration of spring. And what a chance for us to get away from it all.
That's exactly
and
what
yet
it's all
still
about.
staying right here, but it's another world once that music starts.
We love singing here. Thanks, Randy.
Oh, it's our privilege. Thank you. Well, Bruce and Dave, thank you for joining me today. And we look forward to seeing you with the Shell Point Singers and the Bass Singers as we celebrate and get away from it all with our little adventure of travel and our concert coming up on Tuesday night, March 24th. And that will be at 7:15 p.m. here at the Village Church. Have a great day.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Caitlin Vanskoy, and this is Bev Chandley, and we're going to let you know all the activities that are happening here at Shell Point today. We start with men's Bible study at 7:45. That'll be in the Osprey Room. 8 a.m. we have men's match play doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And Lily and Company Jewelers will be here for their weekly jewelry service at 8:45. That'll be in the Resident Activity Center. Jurassic Travel will be here at 9 a.m. in the Egret Room. And Watercolor Group with Phil Hilton will be at 9 a.m. That'll be down in the Art Studio. The Card Making and Scrapbooking Group will be meeting at 9:15 at the Tarpon Room. And Fine Mark Roundtable will be in the Manatee Room at 10 a.m. Men's match play doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts at 10 a.m. And the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Woodlands Commons Lake at 10:15. Also at 10:15, the Women's Ministries Global Outreach will be gathering in the Hospitality Room of the Village Church. The Neuropathy Group will be in the Oak Room of the Woodlands at 11 a.m. And 11:30, we have a Health Connections class, Specifics and Cardio Conditioning. That'll be in the Health Club, and it's currently full. Here's Bev for our afternoon lineup.
Thank you, Caitlin. At 1 o'clock today, we have chess in the Library Lounge on the island. From 1:30 to 3:30, the Model Train Room will be open for tours. We have a Health Connections class at 1:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1. That's in the Health Club. It's currently full. At 2:15, the Knitters Anonymous group will be in the Osprey Room. Jazz and Stuff will be in the Grand Cypress Room playing for you at 2:30. At 3 o'clock, we have a Bible study. This will be in the Community Room of King's Crown. We have a Health Connections class also at 3 o'clock. This one is Pilates Stretch in the Health Club. And we have a 3 o'clock Memory Care group in the Conference Room of Behavioral Health on the island. And we have another Health Connections class at 3:30, Aqua Agility and Conditioning. That's at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. At 4 o'clock is the time for pickleball at the pickleball court. 4:30, we have indoor bocce in the Health Club. And at 5:30, there'll be a singles table set up at the Crystal Dining Room. The church choir rehearsal will be at 5:45, and that's held at the Village Church. And we round out the evening at 7:15 with prayer and praise at the Village Church. Well, we're going to wish you a really wonderful day, and we will see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday, March 18th. At 9 o'clock, Introduction to Russian Zastovo Folk Art continues in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, our Open Studio class continues in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. And also at 1 o'clock, Intermediate Bridge continues in the Game Room of the Woodlands. At 3 o'clock, Internet Prep School will continue at the Computer Center in the Woodlands. I'd like to tell you about 2 new classes coming tomorrow. We have a computer college free online storage with OneDrive. The instructor is Jim Plummer of Parkwood. And James R. Irwin of Turbin will be presenting Blowin' with the Wind.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is grilled lamb with roasted zucchini and tabbouleh. The dinner special is the pasta buffet for $13.95, and the soup of the day is black bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a mushroom Swiss burger with fries for $7.25. The dinner special is fried shrimp for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are mussels for $14.95 or veal Milanese for $15.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with Jerry Palmquist. And Jerry, we're here to talk once more this week about some of the boards that are elected as officers of the Village Church. This is that time of the year in which elections have happened last month, and people who have been elected then begin to serve in their respective positions in March. And so here we are at the beginning of the year in which a lot of people begin to serve. Now, last week we talked about the governing board and the elders and the significant role that they play in overseeing both the operations and the spiritual welfare of our fellowship. Today we're going to talk about the deacons and the deaconesses, obviously 2 words that are closely related to each other. And in that process, we recognize that the deacons have a particularly important foundation in the Scriptures. We've often talked about in Acts where the ministry was becoming overwhelming to some of the leaders of the church, and so they appointed people who were to minister particularly to the material needs of the people in that fellowship, who were godly people, but at the same time had a heart to minister for those who were in need in one way or another. And a lot of people believe, scholars believe, that that's where the deacons' ministry arose in the New Testament. And so we have actually 2 groups of people, the deacons and the deaconesses. The deaconesses are obviously women, so that's a group of women, and there are probably 18 or some of those. I can't remember the number.
The largest group that we elect.
That's the largest group that we elect. And then the deacons is a smaller group of about 5 people that we elect. They have similar roles in some respects because they are caring for some people who have needs, but they also have different domains in which they function. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, about the deaconesses, the women's group, and what kinds of things do they do?
Well, we probably see more of the deaconesses than anybody because they're the ones who work around the areas of fellowship. And when they're on a Sunday evening or a special session, they're the ones who get those things ready. But they also have a part in the preparing the communion services. And even into the assisted care, they take care of the communion service.
Yeah. So when we have Communion Sunday, they not only prepare for the congregation at large, but they also prepare for communion to be served in the arbor, the springs, the King's Crown, and the pavilion.
That's right. Right.
Right. And so they have a hospitality ministry as well as a ministry for the communion service. But they also do some other things, don't they? They care about the residents here, don't they?
Yes. They make calls to they cover the one for the new people moving in too, I believe. That's the care group. And so they're busy. That's
Indeed
why they
they
have
are.
to have such a big group.
Yeah, it takes quite a number of people to keep that dimension of ministry going. Now the Deacons Board doesn't have to be men. It turns out we usually have some men that are involved in that, but they have a little different orientation to their ministry, a different set of responsibilities that they care for. Tell us a little bit about what the Deacons Board does.
Well, I think one of the things people ask about the benevolent fund. There's a benevolent fund in the church that we receive particularly on the first Sunday of the month after communion. And this money is used, the offering is used to help those who have special needs, both here at Shell Point and in various organizations throughout the community. There's a lot of ways that helps. And so the deacons are the ones who are in charge of that. And they make the decisions when there's special needs that come up.
That's right. So they have some money that comes in, and they disperse it according to their priorities, and obviously their priorities are informed by the governing board. Obviously, there's a sense in which the deacons want to care for those who are part of our community. And they do that in a couple of different ways. Obviously, if people are residents of Shell Point is involved in making sure that those material needs are met. And so the Deacons Board actually takes some of those funds, and it's entrusted to Shell Point in a special fund to care for church members who have financial needs of one sort or another. Those funds then are also available for people who are not part of the Shell Point community but are still members of our church. And so when we learn of people that might have a financial need there, then that board then sorts out those issues as well. But then they also are concerned about the community, aren't they?
That's right. One of the big projects the deacons take care of is the pantry.
Yeah, the food pantry.
The food pantry. Some of them actually work at the food pantry, and they are the ones who collect it when we have those special drives here at Shell Point. And then they also are involved in supporting the Lifeline. That's a very important ministry.
Lifeline Family Center, that's right.
So there are several different organizations that they systematically support, which we feel is very important because we're concerned about the needs around the community as well.
Yeah, that's right. So the deacons then not only care for the benevolent needs within our fellowship, but also reach out into the community, so they have an outreach dimension to their ministry, which we think is very important. Obviously, the village church is not about the village church. It's really about the world, and the first step into the world is our own community. And so, so the deacons are engaged in that.
It's a vital part of our ministry, I think.
That's right. Well, just as I said last week about it's been a delight to work with the governing board and elders, it's been a real pleasure as well to work with the deaconesses and the deacons, because they engage in a great deal of selfless service on behalf of other people. And I think that's the primary issue. They are willing to expend church resources to make sure that the needs of others are cared for.
Right. It's an unseen ministry, but it's really a needed one.
That's great. Well, Jerry, thanks for spending this time together, helping people to understand a little bit more about how the ministries are overseen and organized in the village church. And we hope that we'll see you at some opportunity that we have in the future, either at the village church or in some other location. Blessings to each and every one of you.
Well, that about does it for today's show. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we will learn about an academy class on crossing cultural barriers. And Ruth Duber is conjuring up something delightful in the kitchen again that's both delicious and healthy. Until then, this is Dan Filgreen for Wednesday, March 18th. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.